All right, Ryan. Yeah, I know it's tough times. We get it. And we understand, Ryan. It's Phil and Rye back here on Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's and Sportsland. Wow, Ryan. So we finally got some rest. I almost knocked the camera over there, so I apologize for that much. But yeah, what have you been up to now? Now that we're officially, unfortunately, in the off season, any good news that you have? As we will eventually be back with you guys, as we promised, we will be here all off season, and then Ryan, we will be recapping the South Carolina and the help me out here. Not LSU, South Carolina,
Iowa,
and
Iowa.
Iowa, arguably two of the best players right now in the country. So you said definitely we must cover that one. But for now, we are going to review the season, not the whole season. We're going to save that video for next week or the week after. But tonight, very quickly, we're going to go over the most valuable, not player, but most valuable Husky. Most valuable Husky. I have mine written down. Offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. Ryan, you have your three awards to hand out tonight. First and foremost, again, if you'd like to, anything new, if you like to speak, and then we will get into the awards as I have just one more thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to watch both of those games. Really, the final four games on Friday night. Virginia Tech, LSU should obviously be a really good game. And then, of course, South Carolina and Iowa, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston. South Carolina obviously being undefeated, and Iowa has been on a run, it's just playing so good. Caitlin Clark with the 40-point or 41-point triple double the other night, just insane. That was such a fun game to
Yeah.
watch. So yeah, Caitlin Clark has been amazing all season long. So I can't wait to watch that game. And we'll recap. It should be a fun recap. It'll be weird to recap a game that's not UConn. But it should be fun because we're all fans of women's college basketball and just watching the best play and play each other. So should be really fun. And then of course recapping the national championship game, whoever does end up making it to the championship. So it should be really fun.
All right. Before we hand out the three awards tonight, we just want to start off by saying I know there's going to be a lot of agreements and disagreements. Let's just start off by saying first, and I know you agree, Ryan, you wanted me to put it out there before we get into this episode. We will get into some comments at the end. But first and foremost, let's just say now that after these three awards are given, or even before we announce them, if we had it our way, we would give an award to every single player on this
Yeah.
roster and every single coach. All right. That's just the way it is. That's the way we feel. And that's definitely not an understatement. I mean, Ryan, I mean, again, it's tough to tell when, like, for instance, if you're a fan of a different basketball team, you just don't really know unless you follow them in and out like we try our best to do, obviously with this podcast now. But you just don't know if you don't follow another team, the ups and the downs that they go through. And I just feel like no matter what, I get a lot of other teams had their injuries this year and the season's not over yet, but man, you just get the feeling, even if you could have followed 100 other schools, Ryan, this season, there was something special and unique, just like we were saying last year about this UConn ball club, and they deserve, to me, just an inch. I mean, I like all these teams, man, but UConn deserves just an inch more of respect. And I have to say, before you give your take on that, we definitely want the negative comments off of here, man, and we appreciate you all coming through and bringing us the discussions. But again, man, now that the season's over, I can finally relax. Hopefully people come back on my side because it was a tough season. We get it. But again, it was very disappointing, Ryan. And I know it was to you to see some of the comments on the last video. Again, these are young women that put their heart and souls into this game that we love. So to see the negative stuff, man, it really killed me. So whatever you have to say about that, I know you can clean that up for me and explain a little bit further.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously everybody has their own opinion, and of
Mm,
course we respect that, whatever you think. But yeah, I mean, all these women that played this season have they go through so much. So I mean, we really do appreciate all of them that played on this team, and all the coaches as well, and everybody else behind the scenes that doesn't get talked about, obviously. But yeah, I mean, there's so much effort, and just every single day, just practicing, going through all these games and grinding it out. Just every single day. So, we really do appreciate all the UConn Huskies women for providing us with such a great season. So it's it's been another heck of a ride. I'm disappointed it had to end a little bit earlier than what we were expecting, but hopefully next season can be even better. And like I said, we're getting a couple players back, obviously losing a couple players, but hopefully we'll get everybody back healthy. And it should be another fun season next year.
All right, roll it out. Your most valuable, actually, we'll say that for last. Your defensive player of the year, 22-23, UConn Huskies, women's basketball.
Defensive player of the year, I'm gonna go Nika Mule. Now, honestly, I thought about
Ooh,
giving her the MVH award, Most Valuable Husky, but
okay.
just because of the effort she puts in every single night, almost every game, playing the whole game for all 40 minutes. She only
Mhm.
missed one game due to her concussion all season long, but she still played 106 more minutes than Aaliyah, who was second on the team in minutes played. But going back to her effort, it's just really unmatched. She frustrates every player she guards. Had 50 steals this season, always diving on the floor for loose balls, fighting for rebounds on defense. And I think a lot of the time, her work and effort, it really goes unnoticed because we just expect Nika to get steals and play outstanding defense every single night. But like I said many times before, Nika's obviously the heart and soul of this team. And I believe she's been the best defensive player on the team for the past 2 years, even now. So, along with Aaliyah, I'm so glad that we get another year of Nika Mule because she honestly is a really, really just spectacular player. And you really can't teach the hustle and effort that she brings and the energy as well that she brings to the team every single night.
Offensive player of the year, presented by Dempsey's and Sportsland.
Offense, I'm gonna go Lou Lopez Seneschal. Obviously, I probably could have put her as the most valuable Husky as well, but Lou was such a spectacular pickup for this team. Player from Hartford, born in France, and from the first game to the last game, just stole all of the UConn Huskies fans' hearts. The roars from the crowd screaming Lou when she made a three. Along with Aaliyah, she was able to play in every game this season. Losing Paige before the season started was heartbreaking, obviously, but and then we all wondered where would the offense come from, the production, where would the points come from, and really just from the start, Lou showed us what she could do with the ball in her hands on offense, and even. With AZ missing 15 to 20 games this season, most nights Lou was the one that stepped up for UConn
Yeah.
on offense,
Mhm.
especially from the 3-point line. So eventually teams realized how good Lou was on offense and started double teaming her and playing her really physically. But she still found a way to score. She still made it work for this team. So just so happy to watch Lou play in a Husky jersey this season. And of course, I wish her all the best in the WNBA.
And maybe a drum roll for this one, huh? Or maybe, I guess, do you want me to go with my two and then we'll save both the most valuable Husky
Yeah.
for the last?
Yeah. Let's
All
let's
right.
do
So,
that.
Ryan,
Yeah.
so I have hey, this is all up to you, bud. This is your podcast, man. You put in the work like nobody's business. So I appreciate it a lot. You tell me if this is good picks, bad picks. I mean, I don't see how any of them can be bad picks, but
No, no.
so here we go. Offensive player of the year. I am going with Aaliyah Edwards. It's tough because, and I'm sure you already know who I got as my MVH. I wanted to go AZ Fudd just because of the threat that she possesses from 3-point range. Aaliyah Edwards, though, man, I mean, how many games do you think they would have lost without? Because that stretch they had, what was it, like around Thanksgiving or Christmas time, where
Yeah.
Aaliyah Edwards just popped off and kept scoring 26 points, 30 points game after game. So you just wonder how much more trouble they would have been without Aaliyah Edwards scoring, especially down low all year. So Aaliyah Edwards, congratulations. She gets my offensive player of the year award. Defensive player of the year award, Dorka Juhas. Dorka Juhas, man, Ryan, when you talk about Dorka, I'm going to miss her tremendously, man. Ever since she transferred from Ohio State, and we forgot to mention, it was that matchup. We don't want to mention it now, but it was the rematch against her old school. And I think it was bittersweet, how we never would have guessed it. We didn't want it to turn out like that, but her last game during her college career comes against the school that she transferred from. So, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't make this stuff up. So anyhow, Dorka Juhas, man, I might want to just leave it to you. All I have is one word: blocks. Blocks, man. She came up, and especially she has a knack for getting blocks in the postseason in March Madness. I mean, talk about her turnaround from that wrist injury that she had. For her to recover and just play as hard as and I think that if she gets drafted, she even has more potential to be better than what we saw her. I mean, she gave it her all as far as effort, but with that said, man, blocks, man, they were, oh man, just go back and look at it for yourself. And then my most valuable Husky, oh man, if AZ Fudd would have played all year, I can tell you right now, it probably most likely would have been AZ Fudd. It's such a hard pick. I'm going Lou Lopez Senechal. Lou Lopez Senechal, man. And no, it's not because that was one of our best episodes ever on this podcast. It's just because when you look back, when you speak about players that have had impacts on teams and especially college teams, a 4-year span, considering freshmen from senior year when they stay all 4 years. How I can sum it up, and hopefully you all understand, and hopefully you understand, Ryan. I know it's sometimes hard to understand me, huh? But anyhow, so I don't want to use any specific player and throw them down like, well, your 4 years didn't matter at this school. I'm not saying that, but I think what I'm trying to say here, Ryan, can you imagine the list of players, college level players, women's basketball players that spend their 4-year program at schools and playing basketball all 4 years, right? Can you imagine the impact that they have that's 4 years, compared to 1 year of what Lou Lopez Senechal had on UConn? I think when we look back, and I can't wait to spend this podcast with you 5 years, 10 years from now, no matter how long that we are blessed to know each and every one of you and be able to come on and talk to you guys. I think we're going to be looking back for years to come. And I think that's what's so special. And I'm going to hold that in my heart forever, because she had 1 year to prove herself, not 4, 1. And what she did, go back and look at the highlights for yourself, because what she did, man, I will remember. I will want to watch this video of you and I for years to come, because, man, it's amazing to me. That's how sports are, Ryan. You don't need to spend 4 years at a program to carve your name out in program history. She spent 1 year at UConn, and her name will forever be there. If I had it my way, she would have a banner that quick hanging up.
Yeah, it really is amazing how quickly Lou, like I said, from the very first game, how quickly she just came on the scene and really just bonded with everybody on the team,
Yeah.
and how quickly she was able to make an impact. So, but we'll
Unreal.
definitely have an episode when Lou and Dorka both get drafted, because I know they are
Oh,
both going to
yeah.
get drafted.
Mhm.
So I
And let's
can't
just
wait
make
to
it clear,
have.
even we're not saying they're going overseas, but even if players do go overseas, let's cover that too. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it all, man.
Yeah, but that'll definitely be a fun episode after the
Ryan's
draft. But
MVH.
most valuable Husky, you already said her name once, but I'm gonna go Aaliyah Edwards as the most valuable Husky this season. The
Oh
mass
my,
menace
I
herself,
love it.
Aaliyah Edwards,
Yes.
took a hit in practice before the season started and had to wear a mask all season long. Maybe it brought her some luck, but this season definitely wasn't a fluke for her.
Yeah.
Aaliyah was one of 2 Huskies, along with Luda, playing every single game this season. And we talked about how much she improved from her sophomore to her junior year. Just incredible. There were so many games where Aaliyah just flat out dominated inside the paint, not just on offense. We saw when UConn played South Carolina, how she guarded Aaliyah Boston, and then all 3 times when they played Villanova when she was guarding Maddie Siegrist, limiting her as much as possible. But Aaliyah accumulated 44 steals, 41 blocks, team high 332 rebounds, including 98 offensive boards. Also averaged a team high 16.6 points, and even scored the most total points in everyone. So the stats speak for themselves. But if you watched every game this season, you could really just tell how much work Aaliyah was putting in and did put in during the off season, and it definitely showed. Her ability to shoot the mid-range shot, it seemed like something small, but made defenders guard her out farther out than normal, which allowed Dorka and other players to get open from inside. And not to mention March Madness as well. She made such a difference for this team.
Yeah.
Most impactful player for those 2 games, scoring 47 points in the first 2 games. So such a joy to watch Aaliyah all season long. And I'm glad we get to see one more year of her, because if she
One
can
more
have a
year,
repeat
maybe then
season,
I'll give her the MVH. But for
if
now,
she,
Lou Lopez was headed out the door, Ryan. I had to do it.
yeah, I mean, if
Lou
Aaliyah
Lopez
can have a
Senechal. Yeah.
Yeah, if Aaliyah can have another repeat season like she did this past year, that would be incredible. We're in for a treat then.
All right. What is up, Marcia Clark? Let's head right on down the road to comments. We appreciate every one of you all. Let's start off with Marcia. Lots of love and best wishes to Lou and Dorka. Such a tough loss. The turnovers killed. I'm guessing she meant us, killed us. Congrats to Ohio State and congrats to UConn on a good season. They really fought through a lot this season. Great news. Keep up the videos throughout the tourney. Do you want me to send some Ohio State hats? Iowa is fun to watch too. And how about Maryland? Shine bright like a diamond. So many good teams left. Phil and Rye, y'all are great. Haters gonna hate. Keep doing what you two do. Appreciate y'all. Well, Ryan, Maryland Terps are finished, but shout out to Diamond Miller and Brenda Freese. Hey, we can actually call them two of our friends now, huh? A lot of people won't know what we're talking about, but hey, you're in for a little treat, Ryan. We can actually call them our friends now, huh? So shout out to Brenda Freese and Diamond Miller, man. So many legends in this tournament this season.
Yeah, well, thank you, Marcia. We definitely appreciate it. But no Ohio State hats over here. We don't need any of those. We
Yeah.
don't need any Ohio State gear. But yeah, very emotional end to the season, of course,
Yeah.
and the post game interviews. But like I said, it should be really exciting. I'm glad it officially. The news officially came out today that Lou and Dorka are both going into the WNBA draft. So like I said, I totally expect both of them to be drafted. It'd be awesome if one of them would get drafted to the Liberty, which is a team that we're going to cover for the upcoming season. So, but no matter where they go, I'm sure they're going to do great. And I can't wait to have that episode right after the draft on wherever they go. It should be really fun.
KDB Wiz, hats off to you two brimmed superstars. Thanks for your incisive and fun pre and post shows. See you next year.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back next year. It was really fun again this year. A lot of obstacles, but even a postponed game that I've never I never thought we'd see that from any team, let alone UConn. But definitely a fun season. Like I said, appreciate all the support, but we will definitely be back and we'll stay around and do off season news, of course, like we always do. And it should be definitely, hopefully not a boring off season, but it should be still fun during the off season. And of course, recapping the Liberty too throughout their season.
And we see every one of y'all. All right. So Dan Wayman, thank you. Paul Samora commented. Alan Lee came through. Paul Singer, we appreciate everybody. All right. Rich Hahn, they all commented. So we see you guys and we take your comments into consideration and we might bring up discussion, Ryan and I. So again, keep commenting, even though we cannot read through them all. And how about, man, we have to head on over to Jason D'Amico because he's a regular and we appreciate him. We hope that he actually sticks with us throughout the whole off season leading up to next season. Unprepared. He says Aaliyah regressed back to a fouling machine. Caroline looked like a zombie. AZ looked scared. Dorka and Lou deserved better. UConn played like they were in a fog. Peace. Well, I know it's tough to be in the moment, like after a loss, Ryan, but yeah, at the same time, man, I mean, tip your hats to Ohio State. I mean, we said it once and we'll say it again, but I do kind of agree with Jason in a way. And if you recall, I said that on the last check-in that, yeah, I mean, Aaliyah has to stay out of foul trouble. And again, it's crazy, right? In the sport of basketball, Ryan, because sometimes the fouls, they don't really necessarily, like, you're not, just because you're a fan of that specific team, you never want to blame your own player. Now, sometimes it is their fault, but like I told you, if you understand what I'm saying, a lot has to go right for you to win a game. Because you talk about the bad calls all the time from the refs. You talk about maybe the coach did not sub a player in sooner rather than later, or it's just a lot of different aspects to this specific game, and that's why we love it so much. But I don't really know, to be honest with you, Ryan. I mean, again, Aaliyah Edwards, man, there were some questionable calls. I would lean towards Aaliyah actually showed up and played more of a cleaner game. Again, I don't. Now I'm starting to beat the referees up. I don't want to do that either. But again, nobody's perfect. But I guess at the end of the day, they call what they see. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, I think Aaliyah got at least two that I can remember out of the four that she received that were very, very questionable, like I mentioned during the recap. But it is what it is. We can't change the calls, of course. So, but unfortunately, I think it kind of happened last year when UConn played South Carolina in the championship game. It was really just a whole collapse by the team, and nobody really showed up. Unfortunately, as bad as that is to say, Lou played a good game, but yeah, I mean, like Jason said, it was just really they just seem unprepared, which is very unfortunate and very unusual to see. But hopefully, it is this kind of a sour taste left in everybody's mouths. But like I said, unfortunate way to end the season. But silver lining, like I said, we are getting some players back, and hopefully, they can make another appearance in the national championship game next year.
All right, Ryan, you have yourself a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay dry in case it rains. I don't know about rain. We're not, we promise we're not getting into weather and traffic. No, Ryan. We're sticking to sports, even though it's the off season. I know I somebody called me the other day, like, make sure Ryan doesn't come on and give the weather, traffic, and updates. No. Ryan won't do that. We're sticking to UConn Huskies talk. Women's basketball, WNBA. We have it all right here for you guys. We appreciate every one of you all. Listen up, Ryan. Have yourself a great Wednesday, and congratulations to the Iowa Hawkeyes and the South Carolina Gamecocks. The location, American Airlines Arena, American Airlines Center. And Ryan, we will be right back here approximately Friday at 11 o'clock to recap the Hawkeyes, Gamecocks. Again, arguably the top two players in the nation. Phil and Rye right here. Listen up.